Hello, welcome to CRPS Contender, my complex regional pain syndrome education channel. Today's video is Nomming on Neurons, Neuroautoimmunity, Physiology. This video is part of my Mind as Matter mega series, so if you would like to watch these in any particular order, here is the listicle for you. Let's hop into this. First, what are dendritic cells? Dendritic cells are the immune system masterminds and are in charge of immunosurveillance. And they are likely part of a neuroimmunocutaneous system. Cutaneous would mean response to tactile information, thermal information, pain information, and itch sensation. These dendritic cells become activated in the body and migrate to the blood-brain barrier through your bodily fluids. They then bind to the endothelium in your blood-brain barrier, which is inside your brain, obviously, crossing into the brain and interacting with the glial cells there. This causes an increase in the inflammatory markers and activates and recruits other inflammatory cells. This causes inflammatory cascades and creates sustained neuroinflammation. The next cells involved in neuroautoimmunity are microglial cells. These are the first and main form of immune defense in your central nervous system and create a solid percentage of cells in your brain. These cells are responsible for eating foreign material, damaged or dead cells, dendritic tangles, not of dendritic cells but of neuron dendrites where they connect to each other, fragments, debris, and plaque. When there is no damage recognized in your brain, these cells are responsible for maintaining homeostasis, which is the balance of your nervous system. However, when they do recognize some sort of damage, they promote inflammation. When the damage has been dealt with and they are done increasing inflammation, they promote significant regrowth and remapping of damaged circuitry. However, in CRPS, we don't move past this inflammation stage, so we don't get the regrowth or the remapping. So what happens during inflammation? Cytotoxic secretions are released, demyelinating, which means removing that fatty myelin sheathing from around the nerves, making signals go more slowly. It also damages and kills neurons. Tumor necrosis factor alpha, which is increased in CRPS, causes neuronal death and increases inflammation. Microglial inflammation also injures neuron through NMDA receptor-mediated processes. These NMDA receptors, these are the receptors that are acted upon by ketamine. If you get ketamine infusions, these are the receptors that they are targeting. And then finally, I want to talk about astrocytes. Astrocytes are star-shaped glial cells in the brain and spinal cord, and these are the most abundant type of glial cells. These cells are responsible for creating the physical structure of the brain, providing nutrients to neurons, providing waste removal, and they are responsible for vasomodulation, which is how open or closed the blood vessels in your brain are. These cells are responsible for extracellular homeostasis, central nervous system repair, neurogenesis, which is the creation of new neurons, and synaptogenesis, which is the creation of new synapses. Synapses are where neurons meet together to communicate information. They are also responsible for endothelial communication, blood-brain barrier permeability, and the amount of blood flow that is reaching the brain. Astrocytes are responsible for driving the initiation and progression of neuroinflammation and regulating glutamate. Glutamate is the neurotransmitter that acts upon NMDA receptors. When astrocytes are involved in neuroinflammation, several things happen. It alters neuronal activity in your frontal cortex, which involves motor function, problem solving, spontaneity, memory, language, initiation, judgment, impulse control, social and sexual behavior. In the next one, I'll be discussing what this looks like in practice. And before we move on to the next video, I do want to discuss just a little bit the difference between neuroinflammation and neuroautoimmunity, because they're enacted by the same cells, right? So in your standard immune system, not part of your brain, but in your immune system, when you have your innate and your adaptive arms of the immune system, they have different cells in them, right, that do different things. That's not the case with neuroautoimmunity, where the whole thing is perpetuated by basically your microglia and your astrocytes. So the neuroautoimmunity would be the specific response to particular receptors or neurons specifically, whereas the inflammation would be the generalized response and how it affects the entire nervous system instead of particular receptors. Thanks so much for watching. If you like the content I'm creating here, hit subscribe. You're welcome to share any of the videos I produce on this channel. If you'd like to contribute to my Patreon, that is listed below. As always, relevant sources are linked in the description. I hope you learned something today, and I hope to see you next time.